I'm going to show you 3 leavens which are mentioned in the Gospels by Jesus Christ and are embedded within Christianity, and Christians don't even know it. And if you have any of these leavens resolving around in your life, you will not enter those pearly gates which you so desire to enter into. The 3 leavens: Pharisaism, Herod, and Sadducees. We are going to be focusing on these 3 in this video. Luke 12 verse 1, beware ye of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. So the leaven of the Pharisees is hypocrisy. In what way were the Pharisees and scribes hypocrites? Matthew 23 verse 3, all therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do, but do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. So the Jews were hypocrites in that they told people to do things, but yet they didn't do it themselves. They sat in the seat of Moses, teaching what Moses taught, teaching the law of Moses, but yet they didn't actually keep the laws of Moses. But yet Christians might say, I'm not like the Pharisees. I don't exalt the law. I exalt and honor the cross of Christ. I love Christ. But then Luke 6:46 says, why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not the things which he says? So they profess with their mouth, but they don't follow his teachings, nor do they tell people to actually follow his teachings, because they say it's impossible to do. Just honor the cross of Christ. But then also 1 Peter 2 verses 20 to 22 says that cross helps you overcome sin, but yet no Christian is saying we can overcome sin. They say it's impossible. We'll struggle with sin till the day we die. So that's hypocritical in itself. Like the Pharisees who wear the phylacteries on top of their head with scriptural passages inside of them, walking around fasting towards other people, wearing long robes, appearing righteous towards other people, but yet they're not actually righteous. We see the same thing within Christianity today. Everyone and their mom is wearing a cross over their neck. Go to everyone's Instagram. Someone has a Bible verse in their bio or in their post. Christian brands, whatever it may be, doing everything the world is doing, but stamping Christianity on it. Just only have the title Christianity, but everything they're doing is exactly like the world, but not actually reflecting the teachings of the Bible. And double standards, telling someone one thing, but then yet you yourself are not actually doing that one thing. Like telling your unbeliever or Christian friend, yeah, you got to stop acting or talking that way. But then yet you behind the scenes in that same exact position as your friend are doing the same exact thing as him. So why are you telling someone to do something when yet you yourself are not actually doing that one thing? Luke 18 verse 9, and he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others. Another thing which is embedded within Christianity, trusting in themselves. Just because someone says they're not saved by their works doesn't mean they don't trust in themselves. Because ask every Christian, they're going to be like, yeah, man, when I was younger, I got baptized, I was immediately saved. I got filled with the Holy Ghost, I had a vision, I had all these things, and ever since then, I had assurance of salvation. I can sin this day, I can sin the next day, and no matter what, I'm saved. And in that saying is prideful in trusting in themselves, in that very saying, because they're deciding they're going to heaven, not God. And therefore, if they're deciding to go in heaven when that's God's job, then guess what? They just became God. Despising others. You see the same exact thing within Christianity yet again. Christians like, oh yeah, we have the true faith. We have the true Jesus Christ. All these other religions, they need to get out of our face. We don't follow them. They reject Jesus Christ. But you have to realize most of these other religions are in ignorance. So just because you're entitled to Christianity because you were born into it, doesn't mean you have the right to just hate on every single religion when they were just like you, born into the religion, born into Judaism, born into being a Muslim. You had the right, you had the knowledge of being born into Christianity. You have those resources. Those other people don't have that. They're in ignorance. So why hate on them and why despise those people when they were in ignorance when that could be you in the same exact situation? Luke 18:11, the Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself, God, I thank thee that I am not as other men are, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as this publican. Notice how he's saying all these things while standing up, while praying to God. This is exactly why we need to kneel when we pray to God. It's not the physical act of kneeling or standing up. It's the symbol behind it. When you're bowing down before someone, you're paying obeisance. You're humbling yourself before them. But when you're standing up with someone, you're like, look, I'm on the same level as you. So when one is either sitting in a chair or standing up praying to God, he is like, look, I don't respect you. I don't honor you. And I'm on the same level as you, God. Basically acting like Satan. But when one humbles himself, bows down before God, that person is more likely going to have his prayers answered more than the other person. And notice how the Pharisee is saying I, and me. We see the same exact thing within Christianity when Christians pray. They come into prayer saying, God, I want this. God, I need this. Your prayers are not going to get answered if you do that. You need to come into prayer saying, God, what do you want of me? What do you need of me? What do others need of me? Never come into prayer mentioning only yourself. Your prayers are not going to get answered like that. That's a sense of being prideful. That's why if an individual has a congregation, you are supposed to be mentioning we. If you have brothers or sisters in Christ, always mention we, us, not me, I. You're never going to get your prayers answered if you talk that way to God. And then yet again, he's mentioning other people. The Pharisees mentioning adulterers, extortioners. You're coming into prayer, you're talking to God. You're like, God, I believe in your cross. Other people, they do works for salvation. Other people do this. Other people do that. You're always mentioning other people. Stop focusing on those individuals. You're basically putting yourself on a different standard than them, saying, I'm better than them. I don't need them. I think I'm higher than everyone else. Don't do that. God does not want that. Then we have the leaven of Herod. And he charged them, saying, take heed, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the leaven of Herod. Now, this could be talking about every single Herod which existed, because there existed a Herod, which is in Jesus Christ when he was born, and then also during his ministry there was a Herod, and then after him when he ascended up into heaven during the apostles' time there was Herods. So he's probably summing up all of them. Luke 3 verse 1, this is the Herod that Jesus Christ is most likely referring to. And Herod being Tetrarch of Galilee, Herod the Tetrarch, which is over Galilee and he was also over Perea, was a governor. He was involved with the government. Mark 6:16, but when Herod heard thereof, he said, it is John whom I beheaded, he is risen from the dead. Herod was a temporizing politician. In other words, he did things to favor other people. He was on the fence. He liked this person, but he also liked this person. If this person got way more votes, he's going to go to this side because he will not look like an outsider. He does not want that. We have an example right here. Herod's story speaks about him liking John the Baptist, but then there came a time where his wife's daughter pleased him to where he had a vow to where he had to kill John the Baptist, and he couldn't be on the fence anymore because he's either going to pick this unpopular dude named John the Baptist who he likes, or is he going to pick all of his people and his wife? Who's he going to pick? The more popular side. So therefore, what did he do? Kill John the Baptist, wasn't truthful, was willing to please the people. Another example, Luke 23 verse 11, and Herod with his men of war set him at naught, and mocked him, and arrayed him in a gorgeous robe, and set him again to Pilate. In the same day Pilate and Herod were made friends together, for before they were at enmity between themselves. So Herod doing the same exact thing which he did with John the Baptist, him and Pilate were against each other, but since Pilate sent Jesus Christ to Herod and Herod sent him back, Pilate was like, oh, I like this dude. Because if you read Pilate's story, Pilate didn't like the Jews. He was like, why do you guys want to kill Jesus Christ that bad? So everyone was bloodthirsty killers out for Jesus Christ, and he didn't like that. And therefore, Herod sending him back to him was like, oh, he's one of those cool dudes. Okay, let's be friends. But also at the same time, gaining the favor of the Jews, because both Pilate and Herod eventually killed Jesus Christ. So he got favor of Rome, and he also got the favor of the Jews. In the same way how Herod was involved with the government making decisions, you two are not supposed to be doing that. Jesus Christ forbids the leaven of Herod, which is politics. You out there going out there and voting. I saw a poster one time that said, God is a Democrat, God is a Republican. You're out there saying, I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat. Christians are not supposed to be doing that. You're going out there and protesting. Ezra 3:1 says, God sees people as one man. So if someone's killing them, it's if you killed them. In voting, why are you going out there and voting when Daniel 2 verses 20 to 22 already mentions God setting up kings, setting up presidents? He already made the decision, so you going out there and voting is not going to change anything. You're wasting your time. But this doesn't mean altogether we get rid of politics because, for example, someone out in Gaza who is a Palestinian which they are doing right now. The Israelis are setting schemes and plots and saying, look, guys, we have food and commodities over there. Go over there. And when they do go over there, they kill them. But imagine there's two Palestinians. One doesn't watch politics and he goes out there and falls for the scheme because he wasn't watching the news. And he goes out there and dies. The other person who was watching the news, he's like, yeah, I'm not going to go over there because the news just told me they're going to kill me if I do go over there. But the one person who dies who didn't watch the politics is like, well, God, why didn't you warn me? Why didn't you tell me? Well, you should have took action and watched the news and stayed up to date. Trump's big, beautiful bill has passed the Senate and now it's about to go to the House of Representatives. Israel and Iran. Israel's doing genocide against Gaza, making the excuse that they're God's people and they're Zionists. Trump's administration is shipping out innocent people to concentration camps who have no criminal record, and you can look that up. All of these things are happening which are about to fulfill prophecy. People's Medicaid, people's Medicare is about to be lost, and if you read James 5, that has to do with the second coming. People are mingling church and state. You see that within the government. Half of the people in Trump's cabinet office claim they're Catholics. There's a video out near the White House where people are quote unquote speaking in tongues saying Jesus Christ, mingling church and state, which that goes against the Constitution. All these things, specifically Revelation 13, is close to fulfilling prophecy, so you have to know these things. So this doesn't mean we altogether get rid of politics, but you have to stay alert, but don't get too close to it. Don't be voting Republican and Democrat. Just use it to stay alert. Then we have Herod the Great, which is the one during Jesus Christ's birth. Look what he did. Antiquities of the Jews, book 15. This is by Josephus. And now Herod in the 18th year of his reign, and after the acts already mentioned, undertook a very great work, that is to build of himself the temple of God and make it larger in compass, and to raise it to the most magnificent altitude, as esteeming it to be the most glorious of all his action, as it really was, to bring it to perfection, and that this would be sufficient for an everlasting memorial of him. Herod enhanced, renovated the second temple. Why? Because he was a Jew. Because he was religious. No, to build an everlasting memorial of him. He cared about his reputation, to gain the favor of the Jews. We see this within Christianity. The pastors are preaching to people, telling them what to hear so they can get their money. There's out there pastors who are like, give me all of your money, and the people are just clapping their hands saying, yes, pastor, you go, you go. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. That's exactly what the leaven of Herod is. And a witness right here to show that the temple was fancy because of Herod. And as he went out of the temple, one of his disciples saith unto him, Master, see what manner of stones and what buildings are here? That was enhanced by Herod. The reason why that building was fancy was because of Herod. Now we have the Sadducees. Matthew 16:6. Then Jesus said unto them, Take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. What did the Sadducees believe? Acts 23 verse 8. For the Sadducees say that there is no resurrection, neither angel nor spirit, but the Pharisees confess both. So the Sadducees did not believe in the afterlife because they don't believe in the resurrection, neither believe in the spiritual realm. They don't believe in angels, demons. They only believe what they could see or touch. Christianity has become just like the Sadducees. No Christian or pastor is ever talking about receiving visions, dreams, or communication with God. Besides those other quote-unquote prophets who are saying things that are contradicting the Bible, saying Jesus Christ is going to come on this day. Those things are false, but other than that, Christians don't talk about it. And the reason why, because they're not receiving communication from God. So therefore, if they're not receiving it, they're not going to talk about it. And that is not normal. When you read the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament, everyone was walking with God, receiving communication with God in one way. Abraham had the word of the Lord come to him. Moses seeing God. Peter had visions. All these things are supposed to be happening in a Christian's life. And if it's not happening, ask God, why am I not receiving communication with you? Please reveal to me why. Because these things are not normal. Everyone went through it in the Bible, so why are we not? The Sadducees only care about what they can see or touch. What does that mean? They only care about this life. They're materialist. We see the same exact thing within Christianity, sports, video games, ears piercings, nose piercings. How do I want to look? Do I look this good in the mirror? Do I have this type of shoe? Do I have these type of clothes? Worrying about all of those things that do not matter. Full of money. I'm going to get this new job. I need this amount of money. I need this. Me, I. All of those things are not going to profit you in the next life. Philippians 3 says our conversation is in heaven. The way you live on this earth is if you are supposed to be in heaven. And if you do not live a way that is according to be in heaven, what makes you think God is going to let you into heaven when you didn't live like it? You think when you're full of video games, sports, clothes, and all these things that when you go into heaven, you're going to like it? When you're reading the Bible, seeing heavenly things, you think God's going to allow you to see that when you didn't even live for Him on this earth? That's not going to happen. Just to end it off real quick. 1 Corinthians 5 verse 7, purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened, for even Christ our Passover is sacrificed for us. We're supposed to be new, not old. Purge out the old leaven. In the book of Exodus, it says he put a difference between Egypt and Israel. If we're doing the same exact thing the world is doing, but just stamping Christianity on it, is that a difference? We're doing the same exact thing as them. There's no difference. And just as in the Old Testament with Israel, if they didn't take out all leaven out of all their houses, they would not be able to enter into the land and even get out of the Red Sea. Same thing aligns with us. If all these leavens, which we went through in this video, the 3 leavens which is in the Gospels, and also sin just in general, we're not going to be able to make it in heaven. 1 Corinthians 5 verse 8, therefore let us keep the feast not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. Leaven just symbolizes sin as a whole, but specifically in this video, we just went through the leavens which are mentioned in the Gospels by Jesus Christ. Galatians 5:9, a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. You might be like, well, I only protest a little. I only care about some clothes, I only care about some shoes, I only do these things a little, so therefore this doesn't apply to me. A little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. Just a little of these things can explode. Luke 14:33, Jesus Christ calls us to forsake everything we have. We can't just have a little of it. All that thing is supposed to be let out the window. No more. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully this video enlightened you guys on this topic of the 3 leavens which are mentioned by Jesus Christ in the Gospels. Hopefully you guys have a good day or a good night wherever you are at. Yah bless.